Hi campers! Today we are going to be making a rain stick, which is perfect for this rainy weather. So what you need is your paper towel roll, so your big one, your paper towel roll, not the toilet paper roll, the big roll. Your bag of rice. This also has 2 little pieces of straws in it. You won't need those 2 straws today. We will be using them later on this week. You also need both of your little snakes of aluminum foil. There's a big one and a small one. You have 2 squares of aluminum foil too. You'll need both of those. A pair of scissors, some markers or crayons or colored pencils, whatever you want to help you decorate. And then your orange piece of construction paper. You have a little half sheet. And your 2 yellow circles that also have some other circles on, but we'll talk about that in a second. So I need to make myself some room here. So the first thing that I'm going to do is get these circles ready. So I need to cut around the big circle, not this little one in the middle. We're going to leave that little one alone. So I just need to cut around the outside of both of my big yellow circles. There's one, and I have one more. Okay. So now I have both of my circles, and now I'm going to add some fringe to the outside. Remember we used fringe when we were working on our dream catchers last week? So now we're going to be using fringe, but with construction papers. So what I want to do is take my scissors, and I just want to cut in right to that little circle. I don't want to go past it. So I just want to have a cut that goes in like that. And you can make your fringe as big or as small as you want it. You don't want to make it too small though, or it's going to be hard when we have to tape it onto our rain stick. So you're just going to go around, and I'm making my sections about this big. So you want to do that for both of your yellow circles. So there's one yellow circle all cut up, and now I'm going to do my second one. Okay, so now I have both of my yellow circles cut out. You can see that the sections aren't all the same, but that's okay. So now what I need to do is take one square of my aluminum foil, and I'm going to put it on one end of my paper towel roll. So all I'm going to do is put the square on, and then carefully, you don't want to rip it, but carefully fold it down around the tube. And kind of squish it in. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but just like that, so that it doesn't fall off. All right, so now that I have my foil on, that doesn't look very pretty, so I want to add my yellow circle to it. So I'm going to take my paper towel and put it in this circle that's drawn on my yellow circle. Put it right there. And now I'm going to tape up my fringe. So you won't be able to do too many pieces at a time. I'm going to do probably 2 or 3 pieces at a time. And just like that, tape it up around the foil. And if you can see some of your foil, that's okay. Okay, so it looks like my fringe is all taped up, but I think what I'm going to do just to make sure is I'm going to take one big piece of tape that will fit around the entire thing and just tape to make sure that the aluminum foil and the construction paper are stuck. And maybe one more piece. I want to make sure that there's no gaps because I'm going to be putting something in here and I want to make sure that it does not fall out. Okay. So that's why I have my tape, to make sure everything's stuck. So I have some nice fringe around the outside and I have some aluminum foil sticking out, but that's okay. So I'm going to put this down. I'll be coming back to that. Now I'm going to take my two snakes, and I have a bigger one and a smaller one. What I want to do with these is I want to make them into a coil, which is kind of like a spiral. And what I'm going to use to do that is, I think I'm going to use my marker here to do one. And you kind of just want to get the shape with the marker, and then you can kind of stretch it out. So I'm just coiling it to make a bit of a spiral. Just like that. So I just want to turn it. All right. Now I'm going to take my skinny one and I'm going to do the same thing. If you need to squish it a little bit more to make it a little bit more skinny, you can do that. And this one you want to be a tighter coil. So this one has like big curves. This one you want to make a tighter coil. So you can even use a spoon handle or a broom handle, like a broom handle for this one and then a spoon handle for this one, or get it started on your finger. And then you see how tight it has to be, and then just coil it around. Or you can use your marker and coil it. That might be a good idea for this one, at least to get you started. Okay, so that's what that coil looks like. You see how this one's a little bit smaller, as has more coils than this one. So now what I want to do is kind of twist these together. So I'm going to take this coil and put the end inside here and then kind of twist it so that it coils around the big coil. So I'm just going to twist this big coil and the small coil so they are together. And then slide my small coil down. And then maybe stretch it out a little bit. Okay, so now I have one big coil that has the little coil wrapped around it. I'm going to take this and put it right inside my paper towel roll. And it doesn't have to go all the way to the bottom. It's okay if it sits in the middle. So now I'm going to take some rice. Take these little 2 pieces of straw out. I don't need them. Keep them though. We'll put them back in this bag when we're done. We need them for our harmonica later on. So we're going to take our bag, and if you have a funnel, that might help you do this. I'm going to try to do it just using my bag. But your funnel or somebody else's hands might be a good idea to kind of make a funnel. But I'm going to take my bag and seal it except for a little bit. I'm going to leave a little bit unsealed. And I also could actually use my paper and make a funnel out of it. So maybe I will do that. So I'm just going to twist my paper and I can use it just like that. It has a little bit of a smaller bottom and a bigger top, just like that. You don't want to crease it though because we need to use that later. So look, that fits perfectly in there. But I'll still keep my small hole so I don't dump too much rice in. And carefully dump your rice in. I already hear a cool sound as I'm dumping it in. So get all of it in there. All right, I got every last piece of rice in there. Then I'll carefully fold this up, make sure there's none left in my construction paper. Now I need to be able to seal this end, so I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did to the bottom, I'm going to do to the top. So I'm going to take my piece of aluminum foil, wrap it carefully around the top. Now this time you want to make sure that you're extra careful because you have this rice in the inside. You don't want to dump it out. So wrap the foil around the top, squeeze it on there, then take your fringe circle. You have that part with the pen circle drawn on it, and you want to put that right over the top. But you probably want to grab a piece of tape first so that you can tape it. Because I wouldn't recommend turning it upside down yet. So you want to tape your fringe around the bottom just like you did for the other side. And then just like I did on the other side, I'm going to take a big piece of tape and wrap around the end of the construction paper so that I tape it sealed onto the paper towel roll. Okay, now I don't want to turn it over yet because I don't want to spoil the surprise. Now you could just leave your paper towel roll like this and you can decorate the actual paper towel roll, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my orange piece of construction paper and I want to lay it long way so that it matches up with my paper towel roll. I'm going to take my handy dandy tape again and I'm going to roll up my paper towel roll. And I'm going to put a little piece of tape right here on the end to seal it. And maybe I'll put one up on this side too, just to make sure it stays. And one down on the bottom. Because this paper towel roll is kind of heavy. I want to make sure that everything sticks to it. All right, so now all I want to do is wrap. Just kind of roll it and keep the construction paper tight around the outside of it. And then I'm going to tape the other side. Now you can see I have a little bit of aluminum foil sticking through the middle. You could use your scraps of yellow paper if you want, and you could tape those around, but I don't mind it. I kind of like the shiny aluminum foil on the ends. I think that's kind of cool. So I just want to make sure I tape everything really well so this construction paper doesn't come off, and give everything a good press. And if you see anything that has that's open, or looks like it's not sealed, put an extra piece of tape on it. So now let's test our rain stick. Are you ready? Here we go. All you have to do is flip it and listen. Isn't that cool? And the slower you do it, the sound changes. So I'll be quiet and let you listen. All right, so there's your rain stick. Come back tomorrow when we will be making maracas. See you then.